What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? Matty B here with another episode of Steelers Touching On It. Today we are looking at ESPN's Mike Clay rankings, thoughts, prospects about the Steelers prospects in 2024. Now I'm reacting to this. I reacted to some ESPN power rankings a few weeks back, and I didn't like them. I don't think Steel fans, you're going to like what I've got to say, but let's work our way through it. Some fans, you might agree with the pessimistic attitude that ESPN have toward the Steelers. We talk all things from strength of schedule to the players to their rankings of positions in certain Steelers position groups, all coming up on this episode of Steelers Touchdown Under. All right, let's crack straight into it here. So, first thing I wanted to talk about was Steelers. I thought this was kind of interesting. They've got all the fantasy points, all that kind of thing that he's projected them. We're not here to talk about that fantasy stuff. But I thought it was kind of interesting where he talks about the actual the point differentials. This is if you're looking at the screen right now, I'm going to talk through it anyway, but it's the green and the red on the right of your screen. Now the Steelers have the strength of schedule according to them of 30. The third hardest strength of schedule in the league. We've kind of heard that from different things. That's probably no surprise. Projected wins, though, is 7.9. That's obviously way less than a 500 record. Most of us sitting here probably saying the Steelers can at least go 9-8, if not better. But the win probability from week 11 onwards is literally like the highest is 43%. Some of them are 35%. Some of them are 36%. 28% Baltimore week 16. That's what ESPN project. Mike Clay from ESPN projects the Steelers' chances of winning that game are. So that's pretty crazy. Lot higher in the first half of the season with all they're winning them games. They have projected no score for the Steelers above 30 points. In fact, no score above 25 points. Now, in fairness, the Steelers offense has been anemic in the last few years. You can't go maybe. But 25 points, Steelers can find 25 points in at least one game this year, can't they? Now, remember, these are ranked, in terms of ratings moving up the sort of range. These probably lowballing it. But still, a season high of 23.2 points is insane. In fairness, though, they actually say for an opponent's score, they don't have anything above 25. The most they have is 24.4 and 24.1. So, in fairness, that's kind of like a little, that says a lot for the Steelers defense, but I thought that was pretty crazy. Some other things I thought I'd show you that I think were kind of crazy too. Pittsburgh Steelers at 7-9, win versus 9.1 win-loss record, favored only in 5 games, would finish 4th in the AFC North. The Steelers under Mike Tomlin have never finished 4th in the AFC North. So I don't know let me know in the comments what you think about that one. That to me sounds ridiculous. In fact, they have the Steelers doing so poorly that the Steelers will be picking 12th in next year's draft. We all know the Steelers are more likely to be picking in the early 20s, if not later, and they manage to win a playoff game. They've predicted the AFC playoff as the Jets. Aaron Rodgers isn't even rocking up at the moment. Miami Dolphins 7, Kansas City 2, Cleveland Browns 6, Baltimore 3rd, Cincinnati 5, Houston Texans 4th. Anyway, let's continue. Let's continue looking at the ESPN ludicrousness. All right, let's look at, I want to talk about, now we're going to go through position by position. Quarterback, you can't really argue with 23rd on the list because, quite frankly, when you look at 23rd for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, most sacked quarterbacks last year, left their teams. Look, if they can be in the top 15, well, the Steelers are laughing. If they can be top 20, the Steelers are looking pretty good. But you can't tell me that Geno Smith, Sam Howell, and PJ Walker at the Seahawks is better than Russell Wilson, Justin Fields, and Kyle Allen. You also can't tell me, I'm a fan of Baker since he's left Cincinnati, but you can't tell me Kyle Trask and John Wolford are ahead of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, right? You're really, some of this stuff is just nonsense. Running back rankings, that's even worse. Pittsburgh Steelers in there at 11. You've got Najee Harris, Jalen Warren, and even Cordell Patterson as number 3. This team, and they've got Baltimore in there at number 7. They've got 8, Trey Sermon, Evan Hull. Evan Hull's a decent running back. It'd be great if he's a 3rd running back on your list. And Jonathan Taylor, the Colts. Again, this stuff really, mate, it's like, what the heck? I do think the New York Jets, that rushing attack is going to be really, really good. I think the Philadelphia Eagles won there. Obviously, San Francisco is up there. Obviously, Detroit have had a good one. Same as the Falcons. That's a really strong unit. Seahawks should be top 10, but top 4, I don't know. But running back at Pittsburgh Steelers at 11, I'm not buying it. I'm buying top 8, top 10. Wide receiver rankings, they've got the Steelers down at 29th. Now, that is fair. We don't have a bona fide number 2 on the roster right now in terms of we haven't seen any of these guys prove it. So I will back that one. Tight end rankings, Steelers are in there at 14. Kind of feels fair because Miko Pruitt is more depth piece on any team. Darnell didn't prove anything in the receiving game, obviously proved himself as a blocker. Same as Con Hayward. So I think the ESPN have been a little bit generous here at 14 for the Steelers at tight end. I'll pay that. That's probably fair. Offensive line rankings, Steelers down at 22. Now, that, again, probably pretty fair at this stage. But do I think they can be a top 15 offensive line? If Furtado gels well, they play Broderick on the left, I see that happening. That's what they've got listed here as well. Interior defensive line. Again, I actually thought the Steelers were slightly overinflated in the interior defensive line. Not that I'm not a fan of Cam Hayward. Not that I'm not a fan of Larry Ogunjobi. Not that I'm a fan of Keanu Benton. I'm a fan of all those blokes, especially Montravius Adams and Dean Lowry as 4th and 5th guys on the depth chart in the interior defensive line. But I do feel like that's still a little bit higher for them potentially. But if they play to their potential, easily top 7. I just don't know as we stand here today whether that's the case. Edge rusher. Thank God that Pittsburgh Steelers are first. Thank God. Happy about that. That's fair. I mean, I think there's some other, Dallas, Cleveland, Texans are all going to be up there as well, same as Chargers. But that's fair. Thank God the Steelers get some respect there. But this one is probably, when I saw this is the whole reason why I did the video. The off-the-ball linebackers. This grinded my gears particularly. 13th in the league with Patrick Queen, one of the top linebackers in the league last year. Cole Holcomb played very, very well before his injury. Atlanta Roberts, probably the best 2nd to 3rd linebacker in the league from a run stopper perspective. Peyton Wilson, the number 1 linebacker in the draft class. The only knock on him was his injury history. Then they got Mark Robinson there. I actually think Mark Robinson is further down the depth chart than that. I actually think like Kyron Johnson from the previous page could possibly be that bloke. But 11, when you've got 4 guys that could be in the top 2 spots in any other team in the league, I do think this is, and the problem with off-the-ball linebacker too is you are gelling 3-4 and 4-3s, and this is one of the best 3-4 inside linebackers. So you kind of give ESPN a little bit of a let-off, but even then, this is a top 8 easily when you look at some of the other guys on this list. Like the Bears, TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, Jack Sanborn. I think this is a better. I mean, Trent Edmonds is good. TJ Edwards is good, but this is still probably. You look at New Orleans Saints. Pete Werner, Damari Davis is like 37 now. They got Willie Gay. But, I mean, this is more of a 4-3 sort of setup. Jacksonville are up there. I really like their unit. I do like San Francisco's unit. But, again, San Francisco's unit gets a bit light after Fred Warner in terms of weight. I just don't think they deserve top 10, top 8. I actually think if they play to potential and Cole Holcomb comes back fit, I think they're a lot better than this. I think they're way better than the Cincinnati Bengals at number 10. I think they're much better than the Carolina Panthers at number 9. I think they're kind of better than the Cleveland. Well, I think they're kind of better than Buffalo, but I also think they're definitely better than Cleveland. Devin Bush? Would you rather Devin Bush or Cole Holcomb? Like, come on. Like, that's ridiculous. And then Tony Fields a second. This bit, absolutely downright, the Steelers have been done dirty. At cornerback, I thought it was kind of interesting where the Pittsburgh Steelers fell overall at 21. That could be considered as generous because outside of Porter Jr. and Dante Jackson, they did have Cameron Sutton in there. That probably made the difference. But Braylon Arnold's probably more of a safety, and they've got Josiah Scott. They don't have Beanie Bishop, don't have Darius Rush, don't have Trice. If they listed them, they probably would have been further down. Can they play better than 21? Obviously, this is just a preseason ranking. It's meant to rank for the season, but it's obviously before the season starts. They have the Steelers in there at 6 for safety. I actually think Minka and Deshaun can easily play better than that. I think they can do better than Delpit and Thornhill at Cleveland. I think they can rival Antoine Winfield Jr. and Jordan Whitehead in Tampa. And I think they can rival even what Minnesota got going on. It's going to be hard against Miami, Holland and Poyer, and Marcus May. That's a pretty good 3-safety unit. Baltimore, Marcus Williams-Cole, pretty good. I think that drops off a bit more. So I actually think the Steelers probably have a deeper safety class. But, we've got to see them turn it up on the field. There's probably some other teams that have been done a little bit dirty in this list as well. Not just the Steelers. But then I just thought that was a really interesting sort of take on the Steelers and their projected sort of situation in 2024 based on the position rankings, based on the strength of schedule, projected wins. But you let me know in the comments, what was the most egregious thing that I've just outlined? What did you like the most? What did you think was fair? Keen to get all your perspectives on this because, I think overall, Mike Clay and ESPN, you've done the Steelers dirty. But underestimate the Steelers all you like because the Steelers will come and show you up. But stop predicting. Why do people keep predicting Mike Tomlin to finish 4th in the AFC North? Has never happened. Not just has he only never had a losing season. It has never happened in his career. Never happened. Prove it. I've literally got it here on Pro Football Reference. In fact, he averages position 1.8. He averages number 2 or better each year. He's only finished 3rd 4 times in the 17 years he's been a coach. He's finished 1st. I think I counted it before. It was up to 7. It was 7 times. 2nd the rest. So, come on, dudes. What are you doing? More likely to finish 1st or 2nd than he is to finish 3rd or 4th. Never finish 4th. Only finish 3rd. In about 25, less than 25% of all the coaching seasons he's had, less than 1 in 4 seasons, he finishes 3rd. So that's ludicrous. But you know what? As I say, keep underestimating the Steelers and they'll keep showing up. I'm Matty P as always. Go Steelers.